Hello, everyone, and welcome to our South Pointe High School broadcast studio. My name is Armand Brody. I'm here with Chiquila Barber, and Miss Barber is the volunteer coordinator with Kindred Hospice in Rock Hill. We're going to explain that. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. So basically, Miss Barber spearheads a volunteer program, and that has some importance for South Pointe High School students. And we're very glad to have Ms. Barber here with us. Thank you so much for joining us. I mentioned to our audience that you are the volunteer coordinator with Kindred Hospice. First of all, just sort of, if you could, explain what you do.
Okay. So my role at Kindred is to recruit and retain. The first part of my job, I go out, I recruit volunteers from the community to come assist us with caring for our clients. And then the retaining is what I feel like is the fun part. I make this experience as enjoyable and educational for the volunteers as I can.
Kindred Hospice, what is the function, what is the goal or the purpose of Kindred Hospice? Because I think a lot of people have misconceptions when they hear the word hospice. Can you explain that?
Yes, so hospice is what I call the elephant in the room in healthcare. The community at large is afraid of hospice, but they shouldn't be, because hospice is the team that cares for the terminally ill. So if we have a client that comes in who has recently been diagnosed with something such as cancer, that's when hospice comes in and says, hey, I'll take care of you. I'll give you whatever you need to make sure this time is as comfortable for you as possible.
All right, thank you for that, because I think a lot of people,
Yeah.
they hear hospice and their minds go in a lot of different places.
It's scary. It's scary because the main point of hospice that a lot of people see is the death part. A lot of the time, the community doesn't notice the care that surrounds that person in the last few days or weeks or months of life.
All right, so let's talk a little bit now about how this relates to South Pointe.
Okay.
You're looking for volunteers. And South Pointe could provide you with some volunteers.
Yes.
So just looking at some of the requirements here, must be at least 16 years old, must care and concern for others, have tolerance, flexibility, and patience, etc. What makes a good volunteer? What makes a suitable volunteer from South Pointe High School?
So the main thing that I look for in my volunteers is compassion and relatability. A lot of times we have clients on services and they just want someone to talk to them, or the caregiver is exhausted and they need someone there to just spend time with their loved one while they go run errands. So the compassion that comes with spending time with someone, getting to know someone that you didn't meet in the best of circumstances, and you become friends with that person.
Are there any other practical things that the volunteers would be doing that maybe aren't on this list or aren't on the website that you could highlight right now?
Yes, so our volunteers can contribute in many different ways. The companion volunteer is the person that goes out and sits with the client, or runs errands, like I said, for a caregiver, or just do light house cleaning. I've spoken to a lot of students that want to go into veterinarian care, and sometimes we have clients on services that have a dog and they can't get out to walk that dog. Our volunteers can do things like that. The younger volunteers, which is more student oriented, let me back up. The companion volunteers have to be 18, but administrative volunteers can be 16, and they are in the facility. They are doing clerical work. They are assisting social workers preparing for bereavement events. They are helping the director of nursing get kits ready for clients coming on services, as well as helping the executive director do some administrative things.
And all volunteers receive training, correct?
Yes.
How long is that training, and what does that training include?
Training, so the process begins with an application. On that application, you list 2 references. It can be family, it could be teachers, it could be coworkers. And then after I speak with the references, we do a background check as well as a drug screen. And then we have an orientation where I facilitate, again, I try to make it as fun as possible. I facilitate maybe a 3 to 4 hour orientation where I provide breakfast, I provide lunch, and we just kind of learn some things about hospice before you go out and speak with clients, as well as before you come into a medical facility. You have some understanding of kind of the rules and regulations in that facility.
And what is the number one thing that South Pointe High School students, 16 or 17 or 18 years old, what's the number one thing that you think they could take away from being a part of this volunteer program?
Experience. So experience in not only the healthcare field, but an administrative role, period. A lot of times teens, when they want to get a job, they have to go fast food because those are the only people that hire that young with no experience. But with this position, you will gain administrative experience so that you can go out and look outside of fast food. Or even if you do go into fast food, you don't have to be the cashier. You can start looking at managerial positions straight out the gate.
And the website, if anybody has any more information, is kindredhealthcare.com,
Yes.
correct? And if people wanted to reach you, how can they best get a hold of you?
They can stop by our office. The address is 223 South Hairlawn, and we are in Suite 120. If I'm not there because I'm out doing things like this, the number to our office is 803-329-0109.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. I do appreciate it. All right, folks, that's going to do it for On Point here at South Pointe. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.